The sky shattered. It began as a flicker, stars blinking out one by one as if swallowed by an invisible hand. People around the globe looked up, hearts pounding as darkness bled across the heavens. Satellites spiraled helplessly out of control, blinking red before plunging to Earth in fiery arcs. Then came the dreadnoughts. Massive, cold, black monoliths slipped into Earth's orbit with the silent inevitability of a cosmic storm. Their hulls absorbed all light, blotting out the stars and casting long shadows over cities still glowing in artificial light. The world froze. In New York, streetlights flickered as emergency sirens blared. Crowds spilled into the streets, eyes locked upward, faces pale and taut with fear. Phones raised to capture the impossible sight, giant alien warships hanging like death itself just beyond the atmosphere. The sky was no longer a promise of freedom, but a looming prison. A voice crackled across every channel simultaneously, deep and alien, distorted but translated instantly by Earth's neural networks. Surrender your world. Resistance is annihilation. The message was simple, merciless. It burned into the collective soul of humanity. Governments scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings convened under flickering holodisplays, leaders shouting over one another, desperate to forge a plan. But beneath the chaos was a creeping realization. Earth's weapons, its armies, its fleets were hopelessly outmatched. Across continents, the mood shifted from panic to something fiercer, defiance. In a shadowed control room buried beneath a mountain, in Siberia, General Lian Yu stared at the ominous black shapes hanging in the sky. The aliens' power was undeniable, their message chilling. But surrender? Never. They think we will bow, Lian whispered, voice low, but they don't understand Earth. Outside, a child tugged at her mother's coat, eyes wide. The mother squeezed her hand, trying to mask her terror with a fragile smile. Somewhere, a radio host shouted into his microphone, his voice cracking, "This is our home! We fight! We survive!" In the days that followed, Earth's military forces scrambled to activate defenses, but the alien ships were not like anything humanity had ever faced. Their energy shields shimmered like liquid metal. Their weapons tore through steel and concrete as though they were paper. Cities burned in brilliant, terrifying displays as initial skirmishes erupted. Firestorms lit the night. Smoke choked the sky. Humans fought back with whatever they had, missiles, fighter jets, even outdated tanks, while alien strikes punctured the defenses like a predator testing its prey. In London, underground tunnels became sanctuaries, the hum of emergency, generators replacing the once bustling streets. Families huddled, listening to news feeds reporting the growing body count, the loss of entire battalions in moments. Yet, amid the devastation, something unexpected emerged: hope. On the front lines, soldiers whispered of a new resolve, a human spirit refusing to bend. In makeshift command centers, scientists scrambled to understand the alien tech, poring over intercepted transmissions, decoding fragments of their language. And in one secret lab, deep beneath the ruins of what was once a peaceful suburb, Dr. Amara Patel stared at her screen, eyes wide with realization. A pattern emerged. The aliens weren't just conquering. They were hunting something far more precious than land or resources. A chill ran down her spine as she whispered, "They want us!" The revelation rippled through Earth's resistance like wildfire. The war was not only for survival, but for the very essence of humanity. Back in orbit, the alien dreadnoughts watched, impassive, but on Earth below, a different war had begun. One, fought not just with weapons, but with courage, cunning, and the unbreakable will of a species determined never to be broken. As the first part of the invasion closed, humanity faced a brutal truth. The sky was no longer a sanctuary. It was a battlefield, and Earth was ready to fight back. The drone fell like a shooting star, silent, small, and deadly, crashing into the ruined outskirts of what was once Berlin. Its charred shell lay tangled in twisted steel and shattered glass. Around it, the air hung thick with smoke and the bitter scent of burning ozone. Dr. Amara Patel crouched beside the wreckage, her breath shallow. Her team of engineers and scientists moved swiftly, fingers trembling as they worked to pry open the alien casing. Every second counted. The aliens could return at any moment. Inside, the drone's core pulsed with a strange, eerie light, alive and humming, as if it held a secret heartbeat. Amara's fingers brushed over symbols etched into the metal, alien script that seemed to shimmer beneath her touch. Suddenly, a spark ignited, and the core blinked awake. The lab's dim glow was swallowed by a burst of blue light that raced across screens and circuits. Data flooded in, images, code, fragments of alien language. Amara's eyes widened as the pieces fell into place. The aliens weren't just invading to conquer territory or extract resources. They were harvesting something far more vital. Human, DNA. The implications hit her like a hammer. "They're not just here to fight," she murmured. "They want to rewrite us, turn us into something else." Outside, distant sirens wailed. The city trembled beneath a fresh bombardment. Amara's team worked feverishly, decrypting the drone's transmissions. Buried in the signals were glimpses of horrific experiments, biological labs on alien ships, rows of human cells infused with alien material, twisted hybrids born in sterile chambers. Every detail was a stab in the heart of humanity. "We have to warn the others," Amara said, voice tight with urgency. "If they succeed, this war won't just be about survival, it will be about what it means to be human." But the message didn't reach ears unclouded by fear. Across the globe, governments and militaries still grappled with the overwhelming power of the alien fleet. Skepticism and denial hardened walls just when unity was most needed. In Washington, diplomats debated over satellite feeds, flickering with reports of destruction. The president's face was grim as he watched footage. "Of a village reduced to ash in seconds. We cannot allow panic to fracture us," he declared. "But we must prepare for everything." Meanwhile, in the underground warrens beneath Paris, resistance fighters shared whispered rumors of Amara's findings. A hushed urgency spread like wildfire among cells scattered in the shadows. One man, Commander Jules Moreau, leaned close to a flickering monitor, his jaw clenched. "If they're turning humans into weapons, then we have to become something they can't control." At the same time, deep within a forgotten bunker in Australia, Captain Sarah Reyes trained relentlessly. Her hands gripped the controls of a battered fighter jet simulator as virtual enemy ships swarmed in every direction. Sarah's squadron had been assembled for a mission that no one expected to survive: strike the alien supply lines, cripple their advances, and buy Earth precious time. The simulations blurred between reality and nightmare, ships exploding in brilliant fireballs, comrades lost to ruthless alien weapons. Silence punctuated by radio crackles and desperate calls, but Sarah refused to let fear take hold. "This is our home," she muttered to herself, eyes burning with resolve. "And we're not giving it up." Back in Berlin, Amara's team decrypted a chilling broadcast intercepted from the alien command fleet. The aliens spoke of Project Genesis, a plan to create a new hybrid species, combining the adaptability of humans with alien strength and technology. "If they succeed," Amara whispered, "there won't be a single human left unchanged." The room fell silent. Outside, distant explosions echoed like the heartbeat of a dying world. The stakes had escalated beyond anything humanity had imagined. This was no longer a battle for land or freedom. It was a fight for the soul of the species. As night fell, across the shattered city, a new kind of war whispered through the shadows. One fought not only with guns and ships, but with knowledge, secrecy, and unyielding hope. Humanity's greatest weapon might not be firepower, but the courage to face the unknown and the determination to fight no matter the cost. The cold metal walls of the containment chamber echoed with the low hum of power coursing through the restraints. The alien prisoner sat motionless, limbs bound, eyes glowing faintly under the harsh fluorescent light. Across the room, the humans watched, tension knotting every muscle. Captain Sarah Reyes clenched her fists as she stared into those shifting, unreadable eyes. Trust was a luxury they could ill afford, especially now. "We capture one," muttered Lieutenant Harris, his, voice barely above a whisper. "We learn what they want, but can we trust it?" Sarah's jaw tightened. "We have to, because if we don't, they win." Days before, during a brutal skirmish over the ruins of Tokyo, Sarah's squadron had ambushed an alien raiding party. In the chaos, they'd managed the impossible, capturing one of the invaders alive. Now, in the dim light of a fortified underground bunker, that alien was both a prisoner and a puzzle. The being's features shifted subtly. Luminescent skin, rippling with hues that defied human perception. Its voice, when it finally spoke, was a haunting melody of clicks and vibrations translated through a neural interface. "You do not understand," it said slowly, words heavy with meaning. "We are fractured. Not all seek conquest." Sarah exchanged a skeptical glance with Dr. Amara Patel, who had been brought in to analyze the alien's claims. "Fractured how?" Sarah pressed. The alien's eyes flickered with something like pain. "Two factions, one driven by domination, the other by survival. Earth is caught in the crossfire." The room fell silent, the weight of the revelation sinking in. Dr. Patel leaned forward. "So you want us to believe this war is really a civil war? That some of you seek peace?" The alien's gaze hardened. "Believe what you will. But your DNA, the essence you fight to protect, is the key to both our futures." Sarah's mind raced. Could this prisoner be a double agent? Or was there truth behind the betrayal? Outside, the bunker trembled faintly, a reminder that beyond these walls, war raged with unrelenting fury. As the alien spoke, a hidden transmission burst through the bunker's comms. A distress call from a distant human outpost under siege. Explosions rippled across the audio feed, voices shouting orders and prayers. "Time is running out," Sarah said, rising. "If we don't act fast, Earth loses everything." In the war rooms above, commanders debated fiercely. Some called for total annihilation of the alien fleet. Others argued for cautious diplomacy, hoping the prisoner's words could end the bloodshed. The divide threatened to tear Earth's fragile alliance apart. Meanwhile, Sarah prepared her squadron for their next mission, an audacious strike deep into alien territory. Intelligence suggested the outpost was a hub for alien bioexperiments, where humans were being held captive for unspeakable purposes. As she suited up in the cramped cockpit, Sarah's thoughts drifted to the faces of those prisoners. Friends, family, strangers, all counting on her. Outside, the night sky roared with distant artillery fire, a symphony of destruction underscoring the stakes. The mission was simple, but deadly. Infiltrate, disrupt, and return alive. Yet beneath the surface, another battle raged, one of trust and betrayal, where the line between enemy and ally blurred like shadows at dusk. Sarah's fighter sliced through the atmosphere, weaving through flak and laser fire as the alien world's defenses came alive. The darkness outside was a canvas painted with death. Inside, adrenaline surged, steady hands guided the controls, and a fierce determination burned brighter than any star. They reached the outpost just as alarms blared, seconds to breach, seconds to save lives. Explosions rocked the facility as Sarah and her squad fought through alien soldiers. Every corridor a gauntlet, every heartbeat a countdown. At the center, they found it, rows of cold, sterile chambers holding humans in suspended animation, their DNA being harvested, twisted by alien machines. Sarah's squad released the prisoners. But as they fled, a new horror emerged. A hidden force field sealing the exit, trapping them in a nightmare maze. The alien prisoners' warning echoed in Sarah's mind. Your DNA is the key. The squad fought desperately, each second stealing precious hope. Finally, a daring gambit shattered the force field. With the outpost crumbling around them, they escaped into the night, scars both physical and mental marking their victory. Back on Earth, news of the raid spread like wildfire, proof of the aliens' horrific plans and humanity's unyielding will. But the question remained. Could they trust the alien who claimed to want peace? Or was betrayal lurking just beyond the next shadow? The Vaya war was no longer just a battle for Earth. It was a battle for truth, for survival, for the very soul of humanity. And in the shadows, echoes of betrayal whispered, promising that nothing was as it seemed. The void was a black ocean dotted with deadly stars, alien warships burning bright like malevolent fireflies. Captain Sarah Reyes gripped the controls of her fighter jet, eyes scanning the endless darkness ahead. The silence inside the cockpit was broken only by the rapid pulse of her heartbeat and the steady crackle of comms. "This is Valkyrie Leader. We're approaching the target zone. All squadrons, stay sharp," she commanded, voice steady despite the storm of nerves churning beneath her calm exterior. Ahead, the alien fleet formed a vast, impenetrable fortress. Their dreadnoughts loomed like giants, hulking shadows bristling, with weapons that could tear through Earth's best defenses. But this mission was a knife's edge, a desperate gamble. Strike at their supply lines deep inside enemy territory and cripple the advance. Behind her, Valkyrie Squadron prepared to dance with death. The countdown ticked closer. In the cold darkness, flares erupted like deadly flowers, illuminating the jagged silhouettes of enemy fighters rushing to intercept. Laser beams crisscrossed like spider webs spun from pure light. Explosions bloomed in the void, fiery blooms against the endless black. Sarah's fighter darted and weaved, dodging volleys of energy blasts. Her squadron followed, their maneuvers a deadly ballet of survival. Every miss, every hit could mean the difference between life and death. Valkyrie. "3 down!" a frantic voice screamed over comms. Static swallowed the last word. The tension thickened, squeezing the air from her lungs. "Keep formation," Sarah barked, throat tight. "We push forward, no retreat." The heart of the alien supply fleet lay ahead, a cluster of massive ships, glimmering with strange bioluminescent patterns like living organisms more than machines. Within their hulls, precious cargo and the twisted experiments that threatened humanity's future. The squadron surged forward, slipping through layers of defenses, flak exploding around them like deadly fireworks. Sarah's hands moved with practiced precision, every decision a razor's edge between survival and oblivion. Suddenly, the lead dreadnought unleashed a cascade of plasma bolts. One slammed into Valkyrie 2, tearing it apart in a blaze of light. "No! Valkyrie 2 down!" came the panicked call. Sarah's stomach tightened. They were running out of time. With a grim breath, she led the charge. Target locked on a critical supply vessel pulsing with ominous red lights. Missiles launched in a deadly volley streaking toward the target. The ship shuddered under the impact, explosions rippling across its surface. But the alien defenses were relentless. Energy shields flickered to life, glowing like ghostly barriers. Automated turrets turned, firing waves of deadly beams that sliced through the void. Valkyrie Squadron was caught in a storm of death. One by one, ships fell, torn apart in blinding bursts. Radio silence stretched, until a voice broke through. "The static," Valkyrie leader, you're alone. Sarah's heart froze. She glanced back. Her wingmen were gone. The mission had turned into a nightmare. She had two choices: retreat and save herself or push forward, risking everything for a chance to cripple the alien advance. The choice was clear. With a roar of engines, Sarah dived deeper into the enemy fleet. Her fighter's targeting system locked on the supply core, a glowing orb of pulsating energy. She unleashed her final missile. The explosion shattered the night like a nova, sending shockwaves rippling through the enemy fleet. Alarms blared on her console. The ship's hull trembled under retaliatory fire. As the supply vessel collapsed, the alien fleet wavered, a crack in their seemingly invincible armor. But victory tasted bitter. Sarah's fighter was hit, systems failing. Red lights flashed, warning sirens screamed. She fought to maintain control as the ship spiraled toward the void. In her final moments, she sent a transmission. Mission accomplished. Valkyrie leader out. Darkness swallowed her. Back on Earth, the command center held its breath. Then a flicker. Sarah's voice returned, faint but alive. The squadron's sacrifice had bought humanity time, a fragile, burning hope in the vast black. And as the stars blinked cold and distant, Earth prepared for the next strike, because in the void, fire had been lit, and it would not go out. Darkness crept over the makeshift command center nestled deep within the Rockies. Flickering holoscreens cast eerie blue glows on the tired faces of Earth's last strategists. Outside, the cold wind howled, rattling the steel walls like a distant scream. Dr. Amara Patel stared at the data streaming before her, her fingers trembling as she pieced together fragments of alien transmissions intercepted during the Valkyrie raid. But these were different. Encrypted signals encoded deep within the shadows of their own minds. Neural manipulation, she whispered. They're attacking us from inside. The realization hit the room like a thunderclap. The aliens weren't just waging war in space or on the battlefield. They were invading the human mind. Reports filtered in. Soldiers collapsing without cause, civilians driven mad by nightmares too vivid to be dreams, entire villages rendered catatonic. The enemy was everywhere, inside their heads. Is this some kind of psychic weapon? General Lian Yu asked grimly, pacing the room. Amara nodded. It's more advanced than anything we've seen. They're using our fears, memories, even our hopes against us. Our minds are the new battlefield. A hush fell over the room. Outside, the bunker, a young soldier named Eli sat alone, his eyes wide and haunted. The shadows seemed to twist around him, whispering voices in languages he couldn't understand. His rifle slipped from numb fingers as he battled the invisible enemy. Meanwhile, Captain Sarah Reyes, still recovering from her near-fatal crash, lay awake in a medical bay. Her mind was a storm of fragmented images, faces she couldn't place, places she'd never seen, and a voice that called her name with chilling familiarity. She clutched the sheets, fighting to hold on to reality. In the war rooms, the commanders debated frantic countermeasures. Could humanity develop defenses against an enemy that lived inside their own consciousness? Amara proposed a risky plan, a neural shield designed to block the alien signals and protect soldiers on the front lines. But the technology was experimental, untested. We have no choice, she said. If we don't fight inside our minds, we lose everything. The team scrambled to build the neural interface, racing against a rising tide of mental casualties. As they worked, an encrypted transmission from the alien prisoner shattered the tense atmosphere. The being's eyes glowed with urgency. There is one among you who carries the key, it said cryptically. But beware, the enemy wears many faces. Suspicion rippled through the command center. Who could it be? A traitor? A pawn? Or something far worse? That night, Eli awoke in a cold sweat, visions clawing at the edges of his sanity. He stumbled outside, drawn by a voice that wasn't his own. In the darkness, a figure waited. The war for Earth had spread, beyond guns and ships. It was a battle for the soul, fought in shadows unseen and fears unspoken, and as the line between friend and foe blurred, humanity faced its darkest hour. The rain fell in sheets over the shattered remnants of New York City. Streets once teeming with life now lay silent, except for the distant echoes of gunfire and the faint hum of alien drones patrolling the skies. Lieutenant Eli Moreno stumbled through the debris-strewn alleyways, heart pounding. His mind was a tempest of fragmented memories and whispered lies. The voice from the night before still echoed in his ears, a whisper promising salvation, power, and the end of the war. He paused beneath a flickering street lamp, shadows dancing on broken walls. Suddenly, a sharp sting bit into his neck, a dart. Darkness swallowed him. When Eli awoke, he was no longer alone. A sleek chamber hummed softly around him, the air cool and sterile. Across from him stood a figure, both human and alien, its eyes a strange mix of empathy and cold calculation. "Welcome back, Lieutenant," it said smoothly. Eli's mind reeled. The transformation was underway. Back at the command center, Dr. Amara Patel scanned the latest neural scans with growing dread. Eli's readings were unlike anything she'd seen. His neural pathways were being rewritten, infused with alien genetic sequences. "He's becoming one of them," she whispered. "A hybrid." Commander Jules Moreau paced the room, grim-faced. "We warned about this. They're not just capturing humans, they're creating weapons from within." Sarah Reyes, now partially recovered, tightened her fists. "Then we need to find him, before the hybrid is complete." Meanwhile, Eli struggled against the invasive thoughts. Memories not his own flooded his mind, visions of distant worlds, alien hierarchies, and unspeakable atrocities. His own identity slipped away with every passing moment, but buried deep within, a spark of humanity remained, a desperate will to fight back. In the shadows of the alien fleet, the hybrid program accelerated. Clones of Eli and others like him were being trained, warriors forged from two species, ruthless and unpredictable. On Earth, the Resistance launched a risky operation to infiltrate the alien biolabs hidden beneath the Siberian tundra. Their goal: destroy the hybrid production line before it could claim more victims. Sarah led the strike team, moving like ghosts through frozen corridors. The air was thick with the metallic scent of blood and chemical fumes. Suddenly, alarms blared. The facility erupted into chaos. Alien soldiers poured in, and the Resistance fought fiercely, every step a battle for survival. In the heart of the lab, Sarah confronted a horrifying sight. Rows of human subjects trapped in transparent tubes, their bodies twisted and fused with alien tech. Her stomach churned. Then, from the shadows, Eli appeared, no longer the man she remembered, but something new, dangerous. His eyes locked on Sarah's, a flicker of recognition battling the alien darkness within. "Sarah," he whispered, voice thick with conflict. "I'm still here, but I'm losing myself." She raised her weapon, torn between mercy and mission. The air crackled with tension. Suddenly, a deafening explosion shattered the chamber, sending shockwaves through the lab. Flames licked at the walls, and the facility began to collapse. "Get out of here!" Sarah shouted, grabbing Eli's arm. Together, they fled through collapsing corridors, the fate of humanity hanging by a thread. Outside, as the facility crumbled into ice and fire, a new question burned in Sarah's mind. Could the enemy within be turned back? Or was humanity's greatest hope also its deadliest threat? The war was no longer just on the battlefield. It was inside them all. The war room was a war zone of its own, Screens flickered with alien fleets advancing, maps splattered with red zones of chaos, and desperate faces etched with exhaustion and fear. Captain Sarah Reyes stood at the center, her eyes blazing. The Yacht's hybrid, Eli Moreno, was alive. And worse, he had begun communicating with the alien faction that claimed to seek peace. But trust was a fragile, dangerous thing. "Are we sure he's not leading us into a trap?" General Leon Yu demanded, slamming a fist on the table. Sarah shook her head. "No, Eli's still fighting. I can feel it. He's our only chance at a ceasefire." Outside, the sky churned with storms both literal and metaphorical. Alien and human ships clashed above ruined cities, while below, pockets of resistance held onto hope by a thread. The prisoner, the alien who claimed there was a faction seeking peace, offered a proposal, a parley on neutral ground. Earth's commanders debated fiercely. Was this a chance to end the war or a death trap? Against all odds, Sarah volunteered to lead the mission. With Eli at her side, the stakes couldn't be higher. They boarded a fragile diplomatic shuttle, hurtling into the unknown. The void outside was silent but brimming with menace. Upon arrival, the meeting place was a derelict space station orbiting a dead star, an eerie monument to forgotten wars. Flickering lights cast long shadows, and the air was thick with tension. From the darkness emerged Commander Threx, the Vakari warlord known for ruthless efficiency, yet rumored to be disillusioned with endless conflict. His sharp eyes locked on Sarah and Eli. "You carry the mark of both worlds," he said. "But can you carry the burden of peace?" The talks began, fraught with suspicion and veiled threats. Every word was a chess move, every pause a potential ambush. Suddenly, alarms blared. The station shuddered violently. "Betrayal," Threx growled. "The extremists have attacked." Chaos exploded. Alien warriors loyal to the war faction swarmed. The halls, weapons blazing. Sarah and Eli fought side by side, back to back, as betrayal tore through fragile alliances. The shuttle's comms crackled with warnings. The peace mission was now a battle for survival. As the station's systems failed, Sarah realized the truth. The war wasn't just external, it was tearing apart the very core of both species. With a desperate gamble, they escaped in the shuttle, weaving through enemy fire as the station exploded behind them, a fiery beacon in the cold blackness. Breathless and battered, Sarah looked at Eli. "We may be the last hope," she said. "But hope alone isn't enough." The war was fractured, alliances broken, and the cost of peace had never been higher. The sky burned crimson. The horizon was a chaotic canvas of fire and smoke as Earth's last fleet prepared for what could be the final battle. Above the ruins of once great cities, warships streaked through the air like shooting stars, their engines roaring defiance into the darkened heavens. Captain Sarah Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship Liberty, her gaze steady despite the storm raging inside her. Eli Moreno, half human, half alien, and fully unpredictable, stood silently beside her, a living symbol of everything the war had become. "This is it," Sarah whispered, voice tight. "If we lose here, everything is lost." The alien extremists, those who rejected peace and thrived on destruction, were massing for an all-out assault. Their leader's fleet moved like a swarm of locusts, relentless and merciless. But humanity wasn't backing down. The command center buzzed with frantic energy as pilots scrambled to their ships and soldiers loaded weapons. On the planet below, civilians took shelter, praying the night would not swallow them whole. The Liberty's captain took a deep breath and keyed the comms. "To all units, this is our stand. Fight for Earth. Fight for our future." The silence. Before the storm was deafening. Then, from the void, the enemy struck. Explosions blossomed across the fleet, bright and violent, lighting the darkness like a terrible fireworks display. Laser beams tore through space, and fighter squadrons twisted in deadly dogfights amid swirling debris. Sarah's fighter sliced through the chaos, her movements precise and lethal. Beside her, Eli's presence was a reminder of the fragile bridge between two worlds. Suddenly, the enemy flagship emerged, a towering behemoth cloaked in dark energy. Its weapons charged, promising annihilation. "Target that ship," Sarah ordered. "All firepower." The fleet converged, missiles and plasma bolts converging on the alien vessel, but the flagship unleashed a shockwave, tearing through fighters and shredding shields. As the flagship's destruction seemed inevitable, Eli's eyes glowed, an unearthly light flickering within. His voice came over the comms, calm and resolute. "I can help." Sarah hesitated. Trust was razor thin. But there was no other choice. Eli linked his mind to the ship's systems, bridging human and alien technology. He became a living weapon, hacking the flagship from within. The flagship convulsed, systems failing one by one, but the strain was immense. Eli's body weakened, the alien side fighting for control. Sarah stayed close, shielding him from enemy fire. With one final surge, Eli broke the flagship's core. It exploded in a blinding supernova of fire and light, shaking the battlefield to its core. The enemy fleet faltered, retreating into the darkness. Cheers erupted across the fleet, but the victory was bittersweet. Eli collapsed, drained but alive. Sarah knelt beside him, her heart heavy. "We did it," she said softly. "Earth stands." He smiled faintly. For now. As dawn broke over a scarred but unbroken planet, the war had changed everything. Earth was no longer just a battlefield. It was a symbol, a warning, a testament to humanity's resilience and the cost of survival. The enemy had underestimated one thing: the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to be conquered. And as new stars rose in the sky, humanity looked forward, not to peace, but to the promise of a future they would fight for, no matter the cost.